try, otherwise I will just like squeeze them because I don't have so much of this. You'll see all the mistakes that I do today. All right, welcome from my side to why the conversation you are not having is having you. I want to hear some voices. Like we do it workshopy, so you can't hide away. We have like 55 minutes. I will talk extra fast today. Welcome, first row, please. Okay. So I want to hear some voices from you. Like, why are you here? What attracted you? Like, or how did you fall trap to the title of the session?
It was like a good topic after lunch.
That's why, yeah. Because you know, I saw the room, I could sit.
I guess how to have these difficult conversations and actually sort of finish them and not leave them hanging, because sometimes you start them but you don't finish them, And
thank you. Who received the message from me today, the morning, with a question? Okay, cool. So we'll probably get there later. So for the beginning, to just like set a little bit like the outline. I have like 3 golden guidelines for today. The first is I want to introduce the resonance move. I worked a lot in design thinking and innovation spaces, and whenever like someone was sharing something or experienced the same, we did this. Is that something critical to display in your country? You can also do this. Can we try? All right. Please here, first row. So, you also can do this. Try. What feels better for you? Good. Then the second, and I can just like it, you can apply the first as well. What I always say in the beginning of each session, each working modality, each lecture, each workshop, we share the responsibility for the success of this meeting, workshop, lecture. You guys know? Good. This side, please. So, and then the only request I have, and now like the phones are important, we're all addicted, just like put like the noise down. Probably like you want to do a photo, you can also like record something or write something, and if you're totally like passing out, like you flip the pages in the event, that's also fine. So, one more important thing that came to me today. Who of you is aware of metacognition? Does it ring a bell for you? So metacognition is the observation of your own thoughts, because this is something, so it's like an ongoing reflection process. So what I will do today, because you're here to listen to something, but I also want you to look at, because you were laughing already 3 times, I could see what's happening here, right? So I will always say like I did this because I'm here to like support you in having conversations more easy, and most of that is really science-backed. If it's not science-backed, it's like experience science-backed. Yeah, it works. So not in all contexts, and now we have to be sensitive with our cultures. Marketing has to be sensitive with product department with sales, and so forth. Who agrees? Try to establish that. So as a sign, that helps you, like when you're in front of people, to not feel so alone here, and that's why I did that. Right? So, observation, secondly. So you need to observe what you're feeling, what you're thinking, why the guy is doing that, and so forth. And I invite you to make this a tradition for like all meetings from now. Whatever you do with people, try to observe more. Because my coach always said to me, good decisions come from observation, not from thinking. Mm-hmm. You agree?
Yep.
So the invitation is not just to, you don't see why nobody is saying something that I'm so mistaken here with the.
We were observing.
Learning so fast. So it's synchronized but not showing. Last row. Could you help me with Mehmet? Just like switch on that screen again, because I think he has the remote control and should be outside there, because from here it's no.
Guy is outside.
Yeah, the Turkish guy with like the Mehmet sign. So, we'll correct that as well. I will put just these 3 things as a resonance. So like phone with silence, the resonance move, and the shared responsibility. So we put the Samsung branding down as well. So then why I'm doing all of this. it's sometimes really hard to say like what is your value, right? Who has some issues to sell themselves? This room is really safe. You can be brutally honest with yourself, but also with me. I will not like carry that out. I'm recording it, sorry. So, but just me. So, hi. I tried to sync, but it's not displaying here, and I think like Mehmet had the remote control.
Okay.
And I messed something up. So, like this window is displayed. So, it should be there, right?
Yeah, it should.
Right here? Is there anything that we have to do there?
I don't know, maybe reconnect it.
Very cool. Sometimes it's just a cable.
Yeah, just the simple things.
All right. So,
But it seems like it's showing some whiteboard, right?
Yeah.
You probably switched on the TV.
yeah. Yeah, the HDMI maybe.
Oh, yeah. Try another one.
That's amazing.
Maybe
That's how we can burn time, so it's amazing. Choose content. Sorry, it's German. You see something?
Perfect. Yeah, it's there.
All right.
Nice.
Selling yourself. So, first, as you probably also like see and feel, like I'm a passionate people mover. That means I read a lot. Always like read a lot as a child, but it's just like what to read for. I mean, like if the knowledge is not applied, you can just drop it. So that's why I also love to connect people with knowledge, and then I love also to connect people with people. And therefore, like with all the things I did, I will like share also like what I'm doing. I can really boil it down in I create spaces where communication is truly happening, because we all know it's not always, right? You give me a good time, guys. So, and turned into action, because communication as not turned into action is just blah blah. Yeah, you know, and probably it annoys you a lot. See this nodding like, got you. So that's me. It's, yeah, this is like one part of me. This is like my side hustle as a DJ. And this is also me like on Mount Kilimanjaro, because I love nature and love hiking. Not too much, but when there's a challenge, I just drop it and it's like, oh, let's do it. So that you believe it, there. We are here. And I want to play a little game. Whenever you say something so that we get to know each other a little bit better, I want you to say your name, but with an adjective before that starts with the same letter. So my name is Generative Göran. Your name is?
Fancy Franzi.
Yours. I mean,
Adventurous Alexander.
you do so good. You look at it. What's your name?
Me?
No, you with the sign. He turns around with me. Yeah. Playing me, you love it.
After the lunch, I can say just dump Daniel.
Perfect. It's registered.
Yeah.
So I come from the realm of like design. You know, sometimes you don't really put the right choices. Even as a designer, my first job was an edutainment coach on a cruise ship. So like I was coaching people in graphic design because they sat on a cruise ship and said like, no, the island is so boring. Let's do a Photoshop course. So design thinking, studied society and business communication. I was agile transformation coach at Austrian Airlines. So I was always moving people. So, and then now I turn more into like an executive and leadership coach, and really found in like the last 1.5 years that I'm working with Bosch, fuck, this with communication doesn't work perfectly. It works, but it doesn't work, and we can improve it. So, and as you're engineers, you probably wonder how, but I will get to that later. So that's some of the companies I was like happy to work with. It looks then mostly like this. Again. Also like that, customer service workshops. So we haven't spoken to our customers for 20 years. COVID changed a lot. What to do? You have to call your customer. No!
No one calls me then.
And then the customer will call, and the customers were like, oh, finally.
Yeah.
You know? Like really this feeling. It's like absolutely amazing. Lufthansa IT was a consolidation of annual goals. A week before they told me, yeah, but the 5 sub-teams are not talking to each other through a fucked up merger. They hate each other. You have to do something. Thank you. So luckily I did like the relationship dynamic stuff before, and I had like some neat exercises. I will apply some of, you see this? I do always. So, and my one thing I resonated with, who saw the video of me in LinkedIn? No one, perfect.
Not yet.
This proverb touched me a lot. Between what is said and not meant, and meant and not said, most of love is lost. Who resonates?
Yeah.
So, look at your business.
Oh.
Clear, right? So, and it's so weird to me that over all the years I hear this sentence very often. Oh, we have no budget for communication training. That's so interesting. You know why? Because you have a lot of budget for communication problems. So, and you don't tackle them, you don't touch them. Something like holds us back from touching all these topics, you know, and there's a lot. Some of you wrote me, but there's contrarianism, it's like strategy Babylon, I call it. You have conflict that pop up like in different ways. You have people silencing things. You have two teams that speak a very different language. Hey, welcome, here's a beautiful chair in the front row. If there's none anymore. So here's two, you're free, you can choose. So that's so interesting. Like, just to give you some numbers, yeah, 62,000 is like the average annual cost of miscommunication in the knowledge worker area for lost productivity, rework, and missed deadlines. It's about, I think it was a 400 people company. Yeah, and then it gets bigger, it gets more. There's different numbers, but when you go into it, you go crazy because you think like, communication training is not a cost, it's a cost-saving measure. So that's why you please look at how you can improve your communication, because who has communication problems with team, with management, with partners?
Everyone.
Right, so 7.5 hours are lost per employee per week for poor communication. It comes with distraction, it comes with meetings where unnecessary people sit inside. It comes with the battle between departments. It has to do with the top-down transparency, handovers, and so forth, or like the feedback review or the feedback talk that was not given like in time. So, and probably you know that 70% of people say unclear communication from leadership is the primary cause of workplace issues. Always, each year, you know, the Gallup study, like 85% of people are not engaged. What the fuck? So, what is that? You go to a place where everybody's just like moving in like this. That's why I can't work there really. Like, it makes me really sad. So just like go in and poke and put the mirror up and say like, hey, look, you can tackle and engineer communication. So, I can't read that, right? So this is you. Like this morning, I just like put, like I wrote everyone that just popped up in the event app and asked like, what's your problem? To have it a bit more specific for engineering leaders. I will just read a sum, yeah, for you. I would say transparency and giving hard feedback. Everyone is fine with, and positive ones. No one wants to do hard ones. Letting small problems snowball into bigger problems, not immediately correcting behaviors. I take just the shorter ones for now. Good question. I'd say the biggest issue is misalignment between product, UX, engineering, especially. Can you not, if there's something that you feel like happens also in your places? Right. Biggest problem is remote work, hybrid teams. Yeah, a lot of like team cohesion gets lost. Also like handovers from one team to the other. So there's a whole plethora of things that pop up. What was interesting, I put that a little bit through my AI filter, anonymous. So I can say 18% of the 60 people that replied to me this morning said every function with its own KPIs, not shared priorities, has an issue. And that's the thing, if you have two teams with different KPIs, they don't have a, you know, like a shared trajectory, something where they need to exchange. So like, unfortunately, we organize departments as competing companies inside a company. So you waste a lot of traction and power because the design doesn't allow that. So simply with like shared KPIs, you can change a lot. Personal arena, so dealing with toxic people, communicating layoffs, making your value visible to those who won't see it. Remote work distance, solving alone instead of asking for help. So this is what I was doing this morning. I was asking for help because I know from the whole field, but this field here is more specific, right? So it's of course good to know people's problems if you want to solve them. Hello, welcome.
Sorry for me.
I said it many times. It's just the last time I say it, first row. There's one seat left for you, so welcome. Leadership echo chamber. Information doesn't flow clearly. Worse when leadership sits over the ocean. Senior leaders sit on decisions, then demand ASAP execution. You know that? I make always these jokes containing some content because people have more ease to share, but then I get a lot of information, just like in such an almost like informal meeting like this one, right? Because the humor is also a tool I use. I spoke about metacognition. To bring that ease, to bring that vibe in. You heard the music when I started here?
Yeah.
You see the sweets on your table? I'm bribing you. So, but this has to do with priming. Who knows priming? In your words, what is it? You forgot your name.
Say moody Michael.
You could.
It's like a psychological trait that what gives you, it changes your expectation. Like if I give you my postcard and it's printed on expensive paper, you'll think I'm better at my job.
Exactly. So when the room has plans, or like a painting, people become more creative. If there's someone saying like, this is going to be a very successful workshop today, nodding all the time. Priming. People do it naturally, but we can operationalize it as leaders, but also as teammates, as partners. You know, like everything I talk about here affects also your private and your business life, because you know, it's just two realms or two sides of the same medal, your life. So what I could see already, I mean, I don't say that's the truth. I would like talk to maybe 400 of you, or like maybe put it in the survey. Engineering leaders overwhelmingly describe communication problems as structural and interpersonal, not skill-based. Who agrees? See some nods? They don't say, I can't present. They say, we don't align, we don't surface truth, we assume. And I really saw, like in the answers, it was like pretty much externalizing, you know, like looking where the problems are. It was also a bit about my question, because I said like around you. And then I added also like, and maybe like for you, right? So, but this question was avoided. Feedback freeze was like roughly like 43%, and what's almost absent is the self-esteem question and like the own skills framing. But this is a bit like, it was not really designed. It was just a quick check this morning, but by answering, of course, precisely, and there's a lot of tools, you get a lot of information. So, what is ironic? Who is engineer by profession here? So, what I often observe is that like the vocabulary for the psychological stuff, I'll give you an example from Bosch, is like really like I do leadership training and they say like, oh, now I do have to become a psychologist? It's like in a way, so but you can also like use that tools and engineer them. So and this is maybe the reframing. Who knows reframing? So yeah, you give the thing a different coating to make it more tangible, more attractive for you, for your people. Honey, do we want to go shopping today? Oui? So, you can engineer the human connection as well. And this is what I invite you to just like step out, because like one of the answers was also, we are so much driven by emotions and then we are like instantaneously glued to what is said. And sometimes it's good to step back and say like, it's not so difficult. So, I will skip this. Also interesting, 50% of managers globally is a rough number, yeah, Western world, asked for America and for Europe, never received a formal leadership training. And it's insane because leadership is a profession per se. But what happens with most of them, you're a super good engineer, become a leader. You know, the first moment is like, yay, and then it's like, ooh, you know. Come in, I have a beautiful chair for you. Still, amazing, I can keep it. So, and then the problem with trainings, what I observed is, most trainings are designed for scalability. We have a rollout, we do this, we do that, but they often lack, especially with this very volatile VUCA, BANI, whatever times, to be designed for adaptation. You know, and that's why before I work with people, I do always like a big audit. Yeah, to really tailor. Of course, there's basics, but I always tailor. A simple skill gap analysis probably half a year or a year ago, today, becomes difficult. Yeah. So, and that's why I invite always, like as you did with the metacognition, people to reflect more. Because what I say always in these workshops is no reflection, no direction. So, who has kind of like reflection meetings on a regular basis in their teams?
What exactly do you mean by reflection?
Like a retrospective?
Yeah, retro. Who of those that have their hand up right now feel they're useful as they are? Yeah, because I mean it's rituals, and rituals become empty if they're really not followed through by the heart and like with intent and with data and everything you need for that. Yeah, you see, like you have also to reflect: are they useful? You can also like add that each time.
It depends what you mean by useful, because I find that venting is part of the useful.
Exactly. I have even the hypothesis, because everybody complains about meeting, but because we get more and more alone, we still have meetings because we can be with people that we even don't like anymore. You know, I have this bonfire effect. I just skipped it. Okay, you have a piece of paper in front of you. I see we can't move around, so we will not do like any kind of brown or white paper work. But I want you to write down the one conversation that you already should have had this year. You speak about your teams, not about your private life, about your work, that you skipped, postponed, or silenced, or avoided. Write it down so that you get it out. Just like really like decompose. You want some paper? You need some paper? Everybody's served? Fine. Pen also? You're served? So I have my 5-minute timer here. You can really like leave everything out. When it gets really hard, I have also some paper. No, it's the thing that comes up. Like I did in Austrian Airlines, for instance, I did an HR workshop to renew the HR style in there. So I brought up the shitometer. You know, I was like making like corners with a big shit pile, and then I said, what is shit in this company? What do you really don't like? And I was just writing. They're really depressed afterwards, you know. And you have to bring them back, but it's like it's so good to bring it out, because from shit, you can use it as fertilizer. And I use this metaphors very consciously, you know. I wrote my diploma about metaphors, so there's like images, you know, like you were laughing about it. They always invoke something, and that's also a thing. Like I put people towards to that they use a language that triggers emotions, you know, figurative, something that the senses are, because you want to move people, you want to trigger people to move easier. So like with metaphors, you can put attractors and triggers into your language. So who has already written down this one conversation?
Not the whole conversation.
No, not the whole conversation. Thank you so much. All right, turn to a buddy, so that you have pairs, and have an exchange why you avoided this conversation.
Why?
You're attending like a workshop called like the conversations you were avoiding. Now we get out of that right now.
So tell me.
Still Analyzing everything everybody says right away. So half of the meeting is super.
That's maybe tied to like my feeling.
Yeah, I should address it.
I've been managing like
So I shouldn't think about how
I kind of feel that I'm not like I don't feel like being managed.
Thank you. Finish maybe your sentence. Thank you so much.
The reason behind.
What did you find out about the other, maybe also about yourself, especially with the question why you were what it is?
You found out the answer to why, right?
You found the answer?
Yeah.
You'd love to share?
I don't know if I can.
From your, yeah, not from your. I mean, from yourself. Otherwise, the other one you will need to ask for permission.
Yeah.
Wait, wait, your name.
Smart Slav.
Who did introduce before you started? So quickly forget. Huh? Okay.
Yeah. So why I'm not having the conversation?
Yeah. Well, what is the point for like skipping?
Yeah. So one of the reasons is that I'm fairly fairly new in the position, right? And I don't want to be too much of a nuisance. Let's just say, or so yeah. I don't want to make a bad rep.
Yeah. I mean, we don't turn this into a coaching session, so this is a very interesting moment where I would ask deeper. So thank you so much. I want to hear another voice.
What was the solution?
There was no solution.
Oh, wait. This is just like telling you from like my 10 years in design thing, a typical like engineering attempt. So if there's sometimes there's a solution before there's a problem. So like really like take your time to understand the problem more thoroughly, because often we have our assumptions and presuppositions and preconceived notions. So, and I'm not protected from that at all. So probably like that's why I have this profession. One or two more I would be like super like interested to hear. It's like a school, amazing.
I wanted the team to deliver what they were working on instead of like giving them more things to discuss and to deal with.
Yeah.
So that's why I postponed the conversation that in the end never happened.
Yeah, I just googled ChatGPT the adjective, so judgmental. Yes, that's one, right? Everyone's gonna remember then at least, Natalia. I think I postponed because I thought it was not my part of responsibility. I saw that clearly, but I'm not at the level to deal with this kind of issues. And maybe I should have it, but it's just, I don't know what's the right approach if it's not on my level of responsibilities.
Yeah. So you see, like if like roles are not really like clarified with all the responsibilities, and probably I also love in workshops or like trying to ask initially always the question. We do it here as well. Give me a clear sign, like who works exactly according to the job description that you were hired for. One, congratulations, applause for you. All right, and who felt in the first minute like this about sharing? Good. That's really good because once you do it, it becomes interesting. You know, the thing is like being curious, being interested. And so often what I heard and what I had also like in all the output is the first step is missing. So and often the first step that is missing is the lack of time, of a framework or a methodology or just a setting. And speaking of setting, so I was a bit unsatisfied like with like school setting because I work a lot in circle with people, you know? Why? Why the circle?
Everyone sees each other.
Everyone is equal.
Everyone is equal. Everyone is a leader, you know? And you pass things on. Everybody is open from the front. The body speaks a lot as well. Everybody is protected from the outside. So and that's something very archaic and it's like still in us. So, and I also ask people a lot, who has been sitting at the bonfire in the last year from now? And the feeling is great, huh? So, and I can just recommend that. I would love to do all the leadership trainings outside, you know, to get more into this feeling in the realness and not this abstraction. And another question I'd like to ask, who of you is remembering the last 3 live workshops or trainings that they had, like when you worked with people in the room?
Like today.
So then I'm also like asking like who remembers all the online formats, you know, because I do like big cohorts where like it's like half online, half offline. Almost no one can remember the online formats. They just pass away, you know, they're not so like embodied, they do not go into our substance. So who of you agrees that leadership is relationship management? So, and that's, as I said, is a proper profession. And what is the operating system of relationship management?
Trust.
That's, I think, is an aspect or a quality.
Communication.
Dang. Awesome. So, and what's the problem with communication? Is my favorite, and I smash it almost always in like each thing that you think about that we have always just an assumption. I mean, we are all black boxes to each other and we can come closer, yeah, with certain techniques, with certain, you know, also like inner states and so forth. So what does communication affect the most in a company?
Collaboration.
Yeah. So the way people are with each other, I would say culture. Yeah. And you know where I want to go?
Strategy.
Thank you. You're waking up. Fantastic. And I found this quote lately, and it's so interesting. I really want to know like who agrees with you. I have learned that 2 things are central to running a business. You must have absolute anonymity on decisions that are important in the long term and from strategic perspective. So it means like the company has to speak in one voice. As a board member, you must not to make top-down decisions and impose them on the entire organization, and you probably know that. You're doing this like that. And at the same time, you must almost foster a culture of dissent, so of non-agreeableness, in operations, yeah, when it comes to short-term performances and operational matters. This duality is crucial. What we often see among our competitors is the very opposite model. Who would agree? It is hard to disagree in daily business, but whenever like you are in the kitchen talk, grapevine, so that's madness, because we are like just too cowardish sometimes to say in a certain moment in a small operational setting, no, I disagree. So and again, why is it so hard? Because there is the juice. This is where the conversation starts. And you don't get smashed, you don't get destroyed. On the other hand, who's like in a higher leadership position or is leading a team in here? Yeah, so like, because there's like so many tricks. And who of those has received a formal leadership training? It's a bit less. I mean, you can read a lot of books, but most things happen, of course, in like the experiential place and when you look at it and so forth. But what is really important that you know more about relationship dynamics, so group dynamics and like how language works. Yeah, the operating system that you like implement among people. I'll give you an example, like a very like crucial one. Hello. It's from a clinic. So the doctor, the newborn is there, was born a bit too early, was supposed to get like an early vaccine for kind of a lung issue that pops up when the baby is born too early. He didn't think about it. The young nurse saw it because like people that are juniors are often very aware because they want to do everything right. So they probably you observed this with juniors if they're like fresh. So they have everything on plan, but they're sometimes then hesitant to speak up. So she was not saying that, and the newborn died. So, and this is when you are in a leading position to operationalize your language that you see as not excluding someone. And there's like one question, for instance, that's often asked is like, when the boss or the leader asks at the end of a meeting, have I forgotten something? What is the problem with this question?
You blame.
Exactly. You will blame him. And if you're below, you have a problem. Not everywhere. So that's why the question is, what's missing? You know, you take kind of the person out there, so the people are more free. Or as Jeff Bezos does it in some meetings, I read lately, he starts with the youngest person in the meeting to share. So they build up on the low experience. So on the anxiety is taken out. And this is design. This is conversational design we can all learn, which helps to like increase the flow in a company. So why I put this here? Because playfulness is also something missing. Yeah, people are that serious, and there's of course contexts where you have to be that serious. But you know Germans. I don't know. Like I have not spent much time here, but Germans are also that serious. And what I hear a lot is like, "Oh, for a German, you're really funny." I can't help myself, you know, because I know it opens doors and it's more fun. And I'm very egoistic. I want to have fun in my work. So, and I also want you to be like egoistic in that way. So, and it's proven that the wiring in the brain happens 20 to 25 times faster if like humor is applied, if people have fun at work. Yeah, that's why everything that is like very hard for people to memorize because there's this other pressure. But when it's playful, you learn much faster. So now go back to your conversation on your paper. The yellow is always the alarm that you have to do something. And look what is at stake when this conversation you're still avoiding this year is not happening. And I mean financially, collaboratively, and humanely. Think about the implications. What does it cost you, your peers, and maybe your company? On these 3 levels, there's way more, but we have this for like 45, 50 minutes. We keep it low profile, but intense. You have it? I heard like my predecessor went in here and he had 2 beers before because his English is more fluent when he had.
So is this vodka then?
Yes, what do you think? Of course. What's the thing that you drink here?
Slivovica.
Slivovica. Is also clear?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But you will smell it.
So it's like Slivovitz Valley here. So financially, collaboratively, what relationships are hindered, blocked. What could be better if you would step up or at least could point to someone to have the conversation? Right. So what time do we have? 45 or 50?
45.
Yeah? Officially in the program?
45.
Perfect. So give it a price tag financially, if you can, somehow, roughly. You saw the numbers initially, yeah? But if you can like do for yourself, we have to have this meeting again. I was coaching an executive like 1 level below the CEO that initiated for all this level underneath him coaching for a year. And what we all found out, who is the person most in need of a coaching?
CEO.
Really like stories like, you know, the CEO is seeing a number that drive him crazy because it's like existential threat, but he was just misunderstanding the number in context. But he freaked out and blocked the meeting for like, he skipped the meeting for 3 hours. So like put the price tag on this, 3 hours CEO extra and like 8 underneath him, like that level. And they had to wait for him to calm down. 3 hours, put the price tag on that. So it's worth the training, I guess. All right, now, very quickly, 2 by 2. Oh no, wait, is it really till 45?
Yeah.
I will skip that. I will give you, like, you can decide. You want to have more exchange or a bit more input?
You can exchange afterwards.
Exactly.
Yeah, then we stay later.
Yeah. So, why leaders need so urgently learn about our inbuilt operation system. So I think I mentioned already something. Now it gets like really like juicy, yeah, because like we are talking like about the whole thing in the era of AI. So we delegate a lot. AI absorbs a lot of cognitive capacity. We have decision-making muscles like that, yeah, become less. Critical thinking declines. We use less vocabulary. I saw a lot of posts in the last 2 weeks. People invest more time in prompts than in conversations. Who is such guy? It's amazing, huh? What are we avoiding? It comes very naturally. And I do the same, you know, rework thinking, some psychological analysis. It comes all in. So, and language as the OS is our medium of thought, and like we miss nuance. Like they found out of many studies, managers that read novels become much more empathetic. Why? Yeah, because you have to step into another character. You know, a novelist writes with a very different language than a manager. So you have much more vocabulary by hand to express things, put metaphors, yeah, as I did in the beginning. So people have an image for something, and that's like super helpful to broaden your knowledge and to rewiring your OS with more variables. So this is also like, you can see like a narrative of the relational becomes more important with the rise of AI, tech, and digitalism. The reasons I think are all clear, yeah, because we become more and more afraid. Yesterday, who was like visiting the talk of Riz, Indian guy from Berlin? So he also shared with me, the young generation right now, they cannot read anymore if someone is angry or sad or happy. They don't know. They don't know how to read the cues. It's insane, just like in a couple of years. So on. This is what's happening right now, and that's why I'm very happy like have this profession, you know, because I think there will be a need. Then another thing, there's one German author, he talks about situations and constellations. So as constellations, he's describing what you mostly are in. You're in work environments with electronic pathways of communication, with KPIs, OKR. A lot of like predetermined things where you are just like in the fulfillment of the process. And I saw that as well, because once a company that wanted to increase the creativity of their creativity team asked me for a creativity workshop. And I asked them, what is your HR doing as main profession? Yeah, you really have to wonder. So the L&D department, we found out the structures were not supportive of the creative team to do that. And like creativity is pretty often hindered by KPIs. Yeah, so it's hard to bring that in that framework, so they do not fit perfectly together. So, and situations is what we have as context where humans come together, where they can flourish, which are not predetermined, where they can express freely, where they can play, where they can have an exchange like in the kitchen talk, or like you know the term third places? So it's a highly recommended thing to have spaces where people can talk in a way that is not predetermined by structures, Jira, KPIs, whatsoever. And I want to just give you an example, and this is a big wish of mine to have a crow in each company, and like with this meeting I also invite you to become a little crow, yeah, a chief relationship officer. The new science of building great teams is not so new, because I found this article already in 2012, and they found that the patterns within communication habits are a much better predicator of success of teams than barely skills, being in that context already so long and so forth. So they have these three variables: the energy, that you bring in from yourself into your team. Then the engagement, so the balance, like how everybody brings in their knowledge, their power, their love, their energy, they're sharing their questions, they ask for help. And overall, the exploration, how that team explores marketing to sales and so forth. Yeah, and it's very, very, very interesting because they can also eat each other, so but you bring this in balance. I can highly recommend, maybe you want to do a photo, but I can also share the new Science of Building Great Teams, Sandy Pentland. So, and there's a beautiful example, and I'm so happy to mention this in Prague because it was in Prague, it was a bank here. They had a very high-performing call center team and a low-performing one. So, and you know what they did? They aligned the brakes of the people. They just put them together in a break. The bad performance and the high-performance team. The high-performance team was also pretty much practicing a lot of exchange. They had a lot of talks, stopped, gave each other continuously feedback. While it's like the first team, like they were just like working, you know, on their lane. So they put them together. They seated even like people more face to face to foster this these conversations. You see, it's like, you know, they enabled situations where people could more engage. And the biggest was the break. I think they turned it from 45 minutes to 1.5, where both like shifts overlapped. Both teams could meet. And you know what happened? They had a 25% more, I think, like engagement. No, I think like even revenue, like productivity and sales after just a year. Yeah. So you really think about the architecture, like how it's organized. You know, also like if you have like two teams on two different floors, it's a very different story as if they are on one floor. Yeah, it's well known, but it's not well applied. So, and this is like things you can play with because you don't always have to change the people. You change the boat first. Yeah. So I mean, of course, people can be trained, but if you train them in such environment, burn money, churn cost. So, as we are coming to an end, and maybe we can have a conversation outside and on a big coffee together, with like what you got in here today. What will you change? I will put it like this way. I would love to know from you, maybe you write it down for you, what is like the one diamond you take from this session? And maybe if you already feel like one commitment to yourself, maybe having this conversation, read that article, talk with your teammates about structures, feedback, modalities, and so forth. I would be also like happy to hear from some of your voice. What is your diamond and what is your commitment to change up from today? Not in terms of I want to try, but I will. Awesome. Who wants to share the diamond?
For me, it was like the statement that you had there that leadership is profession, is work, because to me it often felt like, you know, not very much value adding and just, yeah.
It happens on the way for many people, yeah. All right, 1, 2 more? So that we can get out, not all 30.
And my takeaways and sales structure was like to keep human communication in AI because it literally happens like people started using a summary like AI generated for them. But that was it's moving better than all.
And people throw it at each other, right?
Yeah, exactly. I can give it to my agent and their agent, and that's it.
But you're not talking anymore with each other, right?
Yeah, but I don't trust this. And I want to see real people.
Yeah. Yeah, me as well. That's why I was happy for the workshop. There's a chance for someone else.
Yeah, there's one thing that I really like when you were saying that department becomes competing companies within the company.
Yeah.
And that's something like not as engineers, but the conversation with our team members, but also between cross teams communication is also very important
Exactly.
as managers. And sometimes we see that putting blames on each other and that becomes
Yeah.
more worse.
Absolutely. And the thing is, they have a very different repertoire of language that shapes not just like their language, but the whole categories of thinking. Yeah? Marketing sales is an effervescent story. It pops up all the time because they're so different. All right. If you want to connect, feel free. I mean, I'm also in the app. Happy to have like some more questions or feedbacks that we have no place for. You see, it's a big topic I could like do for 3 days. And it's so nice to get in with the things that people are saying. So I work quite narrative-based, story-based, not just because I love to hear stories, but sharing stories does something with us, you know, like at the bonfire. And you can get a lot of very juicy, beautiful information that helps teams to just deal with the truth that are sometimes avoiding. Thank you so much. Dziękuję, say yeah. Here.
Thank you for hearing me out. Good luck. What's the plan? Well, to have to